Welcome to Sleepy Tales. My name is Mateus, and before we begin today's story, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below saying, "I'll sleep well tonight." Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive into tonight's tale. The sun had set long ago, casting an eerie glow over the abandoned city. The protagonist, a man in his early 30s, walked cautiously through the deserted streets, his gun at the ready. He had been alone for so long that he had forgotten what it was like to be around other people. All he knew was the constant fear of being attacked by the undead. As he searched for supplies in an abandoned convenience store, he heard a noise coming from outside. He quickly grabbed a can of food and ducked behind the counter, waiting for the sound to pass. But it didn't. Instead, it grew louder and more persistent. The protagonist knew what it was. It was the sound of zombies, and they were getting closer. He ran out of the store, gun in hand, and saw a group of survivors fighting off a swarm of zombies. They were outnumbered, and the zombies were closing in fast. The protagonist didn't hesitate. He fired his gun, taking out several of the undead and saving the lives of the survivors. The group of survivors was grateful and welcomed the protagonist into their makeshift shelter. They had been living in an abandoned office building, fortifying it as best they could against the zombies. The protagonist was relieved to be around other people again, but he knew that their situation was precarious. They were running low on supplies, and the zombies were growing more aggressive with each passing day. As the group searched for food and medicine, they stumbled upon a laboratory hidden deep within the building. It was filled with scientific equipment, and the protagonist recognized some of the names on the labels. They belonged to his father. The protagonist's father had been a brilliant scientist, dedicated to finding a cure for cancer. He had worked tirelessly in his laboratory, hoping to find a breakthrough that would save countless lives. But he had been unsuccessful, and he had died in despair, leaving his laboratory behind as a testament to his failure. The protagonist felt a pang of sadness as he looked around the laboratory. He had never been close to his father, but he had always respected his work. He wondered what his father would have thought. As the protagonist and his group continued to explore the laboratory, they found a notebook with a note attached to it. The note was addressed to the protagonist, and it was from his father. It read, "My dearest son, if you are reading this, then I am no longer with you. I hope that you can forgive me for what I have done. I was so focused on finding a cure for cancer that I didn't see the potential dangers of my experiments. I thought that I had found a way to create a vaccine, but instead, I created a virus that has turned people into monsters. I am so sorry for the pain that I have caused. I hope that you can find a way to put an end to this before it's too late." The protagonist was stunned. He couldn't believe that his own father had been responsible for the zombie outbreak. He felt a wave of guilt wash over him, knowing that he had been fighting against something that his father had caused. The group of survivors rallied around the protagonist, offering their support and encouragement. They knew that the situation was dire, but they were determined to find a way to stop the virus and put an end to the zombie outbreak. Together, they worked tirelessly in the laboratory, using the equipment and knowledge left behind by the protagonist's father to find a cure. It was a race against time, as the zombies were growing more aggressive and the resources were running out. Finally, after weeks of work, they found a solution. It was a risky plan, but they had no other choice. They would have to expose themselves to the virus, allowing their immune systems to fight it off and develop a cure. It was a dangerous plan, but it was their only hope. The group prepared themselves, injecting themselves with the virus and waiting for it to take hold. It was a painful process, and some of them didn't survive. But those who did fought bravely, enduring the pain and the fear, until they finally emerged from the laboratory, cured of the virus. The world outside was a different place. The zombies were gone, and the survivors emerged from their hiding places, blinking in the sunlight. The protagonist and his group were hailed as heroes, credited with finding the cure and putting an end to the zombie outbreak. But the protagonist knew the truth. He knew that it was his father's mistake that had caused the outbreak in the first place. He knew that he had a responsibility to carry on his father's work, to find a cure for cancer without endangering the lives of others. As he looked out at the new world, the protagonist knew that he had a long and difficult road ahead of him. But he was determined to make things right, to honor his father's memory, and to ensure that the world would never again suffer from a similar horror. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story, and remember, if you struggle with falling or staying asleep at night, click on the first link in the description for the ultimate solution to your problem. Now, choose one of these two videos and continue on our journey in the world of bedtime stories.